Okay, back in the game. And what were we doing? Yeah, finding Nasrudin. Okay. We're full of sugar, so we should be able to find one Nasrudin in a single video. Hopefully, at least. This seems like a different priest from the last time. This must be Alexander. In the name of Nasrudin, I welcome you, my friend. How can I help you today? Hey, who are you? Of course, I am Alexander, High Acolyte here in the first Panarii temple. The man before you is tall and broad, with chiseled, planar features, a heavy brow and kind eyes. His hands are huge and heavily calloused beneath his robes, scarred forearms like those of a warrior. Might I ask you a few questions? Of course. Who else could I speak to concerning Panarii history? There are many scholars here in the first temple of Panarii. The two most learned are Hadrian, the church archaeologist, and Gunther Wilhelm, the church historian. Both are well versed in Panarii history and have detailed information concerning the specific disciplines. Where might I find them? Each of them have offices just through the doors behind me. When we're finished speaking, I will open the doors for you. And I think we're finished speaking. We might have to speak with Alexander. Okay, there seems to be two guys. Strange glass device. The eye of Krakatoa. I want that. I want everything, all items relating to the guys who are banished in the void. Finger of Manax. What's Manax? Okay. What the hell is that? Strange glass device.
Of course. I'll do that right away.
You better. Nice to make your acquaintance. Hello, and who might you be? The man in the front of you is wizened old gnome with wildish grey hair and beard 3 days grown. He looks up at you, grinning toothlessly. Call me Hadrian, acolyte of the Panarii and the local expert on church archaeology. How might I help you today? Greetings, I'm Melian. Might I speak with you for a moment? Certainly. Let's talk about your work. What would you like to know? Tell me about some of the objects you have here. Which would you like to know about? Glass device. We don't have any idea what it is. It sure is pretty though, eh? About the black gem. That is the Eye of Krakatoa. Really, it's a beautiful stone. No, I mean it's really the Eye of Krakatoa. When the council was banishing him, we put up quite a struggle. Somehow the monster's eye got put out, and someone found it as they were cleaning up. Dreadful creature Krakatoa was. If you ask Alexander about who's been banished over the years, he'll tell you the story. Okay, we do need to speak to Alexander more. We want to know everything about the guys banished, because we don't really know who's the real source of the trouble, and if they're maybe allied with each other or anything else. So we want everything we have, every one of them, so we know what we're getting into. Okay. Skeleton finger. Yes, that is the finger of Saint Manax. Who was Saint Manax? Saint Manax was one of the elders of the Panarii church, a very, very holy man. He was the only man in the history of our church to have ascended by Nasrudin. That means his body was taken directly from this life to the next. Yeah, I see. And his finger. Why is that here? He can still as of the time when Saint Panic had been captured by barbarians. They were plundering the surrounding countryside and were holding Manax for ransom. He told his people to refuse, so the barbarians threatened to cut off one of his fingers if he didn't comply. Manax calmly flicked up a knife, told them there would be no ransom, cut it off himself. Sounds like a hard-ass man. Yes, he was when he needed to be. Is there anything else you would like to know? Okay, what do you know of the remains of Nasrudin? The remains of Nasrudin? What would you like to know about them? Who found them? The burial chamber and the sarcophagus were found by one of the elders of the early church. His name escapes me. If you speak with Gunther Wilhelm about it, he'd be able to give you the details. The church was then built over the catacombs. Have you seen them? Spro Pharaohs. No, and I'd do anything to see those old bones of his. There are so many questions I could answer if I could only have a look at them. When he died, how he died, I want to know if his skeletal structure is the same as common elves, or if his prolonged use of powerful magic changed him somehow. So many questions, I've never been able to see them. Why, Adrian, you're the church archaeologist. Surely you... Yes, you'd think so, wouldn't you, you young lady? He raises from his seat, gesticulating to and fro. I mean, when the elders need someone to digging in the dank caverns of the Bangalian deeps, who do they call upon? Or if some poor fool comes across the tomb sealed with the Gorgothian blood curse, ring the bell for old Hadrian. But why won't they let you see the remains, Hadrian? I've no idea. He throws up his hands in the air, appending a stack of papers and what looks to be a cup of dark ale. They speak of desecration and sacrilege, but notice his voice leaning closer. The man is dead. D-E-A-D. I respect and cherish Nasrudin and what he taught us more than anyone, but I hardly think he'd be upset if I chipped a piece of bone from his earthly shell. I see your point. I myself would love to take a look at them. Really? His face brightens. Are you a fellow archaeologist too, my friend? I'll tell him the truth. The living one, you? He pulls back, crossing his arm. I think that's in very poor taste. Do you have any idea what is it you're proposing? Yes, I know it's hard to believe, but... You know, we're told to watch out for someone like you. The high priest said that there would be an imposter who would try to pass himself off as the living one. But lucky I don't have the throne in chains right here. Wait, Hadrian, this is important. I need your help. He looks at you conflicted. Look, please just leave. I couldn't help you see the remains in any case. If I've never seen them, they're certainly not going to let you. Wait. Yes. Listen, I don't know what to think anymore. I'm an old man. I am very set in my beliefs. It's much easier for me to think you are charlatan to face the alternative. Yeah, I understand, Hadrian. If the remains are what you seek, you may want to wander around the local sewers. You never know what you'll find down there. Perhaps you could bring back whatever it is you come across. Perhaps you could bring meat back to me to look at. Yeah, if I find anything, I'll bring it back. You do that, my friend? Is there anything else? General questions. Okay, we have to be careful about telling the story to these guys. Clearly, it seems... Maybe the Dark Elves or the Molochian Hand have been here too. Greetings, and who are you, sir? The thin man in front of you is very properly dressed. Instead of robes, he wears a finely made suit. A pair of thin gold spectacles lie across his nose. His features are delicate, but his eyes belie a strength of body and character, as well as harboring a fierce intelligence. He regards you intensely. You might be... You might. I'm Wilhelm, Gunther Wilhelm. A pleasure, sir. What exactly do you do here? I'm the church historian. I have a variety of responsibilities here, from translations to document restorations, as well as authentication of any literary finds. If it's written and it has to do with the Panarii, it's my job to know about it. Does that answer your question? Yes, and very well. Might I ask you a few questions? What is it you'd like to know? What are you currently working on? Gunther points to some books on his desk. His movements are quick and precise. Currently I'm doing some research on older translations of the Arcanum. I've found some interesting discrepancies that I'm looking into. Hey, discrepancies. There are a few differences in some of the passages that I found in this earlier copy. I'll give you an example. The Arcanum we read today refers to our order as the Panarii. The word Panarii in the old tongue means light servant or follower, but in this older copy I'm studying we are referred to as the Panarii, which means defenders of the gate. Very odd. Anything else? A few minor things. I'm still working on the translations. Perhaps it's something we can speak of later. Yeah. I can understand what... I just wonder if the discrepancies are because of time, accidental or intentional. Remains of Nasrudin. What would you like to know about them? What do you know about them? Me? I know very little about them, save for the documents we have associated with their discovery, and a few research documents about the sarcophagus itself. Adrian the archaeologist would have more information about the specifics. Do the church records say who discovered them? Yes, let me see. Pulls a weathered tome from the shelf. Ah, here we are, an elf named Kanhua. Oh shit. Yep. No, it's from to Min Gorad from Kanhua. Shit. It's not going to be Nasrudin, is it? It's another dark elf. They're manipulating these guys too. Do you think the remains are authentic? He lowers his voice. To tell you the truth, I really don't know. I've done a lot of research into the engravings on the sarcophagus. Everything seems to be in order. It just seems to me that it's all very convenient. I mean, who buried him? We have no records of that. There's no doubt that an elf of his stature would have been given elaborate burial. But who did it? We don't know. Statue in the courtyard, who is that? Statue is the Saint Manax, one of the early elders of the church. Obviously made a saint. Saint Manax was the only person reputedly to have ascended. That is, the spirit of Nasrudin appeared and took his body directly from this plane of existence to the next. You say reputedly, Gunther? Do you not believe? Gunther smiles at you. There is no doubt in my mind that Manax was a very holy man. My belief in an inconclusive set of circumstances does not invalidate that fact, regardless of how that might reflect on my own faith. Were there any eyewitnesses to the event? There were 2 eyewitnesses to the ascension of Manax, 2 what? 2 elves of one. Was an elf named Randar, and the other was his name Kanhua, I believe. Their accounts of the incident were almost exactly the same, and both were beautifully written. Kanhua, isn't that the same person who found the remains? Ah yes, it is at least the same name. Let me look at the years. The discovery of the remains happened within a few years of the ascension of Saint Manax. I never realized that, but you're correct. That very well might have been the same person. Don't you find that strange, perhaps a little convenient? You're very curious about this whole affair, my friend. What is your real interest in this? Shit. I'm going to tell him. We've already gotten everything we can out of him, so we might get in trouble. Who cares? I see. Gunther studies you for a moment, calculating. You're telling me that you are the sole survivor of the IFS Zephyr blimp crash? Yes. Gunther is silent for a long while. Then a slight smile covers over his face and he takes your hand in his. I was wondering when you were going to tell me. I've been looking for you for a long time, you know. The rumors abound and we'd heard you might come calling. I'm so very glad you decided to put your trust in me. Thank you, Gunther. I really need to see those remains. Listen, my friend. Not everyone here is sympathetic to your cause. Hadrian the archaeologist is one who you need to speak with, but be very careful. He's an old and loyal friend, but belief in you will come slowly for him. He will be the best source of information regarding the remains and how you might see them, but tread lightly. Subterfuge might be necessary. Yeah, thanks for the tip. No, thank you, my friend. Return here when you've seen the remains and tell me what you find. May be able to help you once you know what it is you're looking for. Okay. Now we have a clear goal. First, we'll have to talk to him about the other people who have been banished. Panarii history. Yeah. Church. We'll start with the Nasrudin. The other questions were generic in nature, nothing really important. What would you like to know about Nasrudin? Okay. Well, where is he now? Nasrudin has been dead for more than 2,000 years. How did he die? Nasrudin died after he and the council banished Aranax to the Ring of Brodgar. Nasrudin was wounded mortally in the battle which preceded the banishment and died not long after. You say Aranax was banished, what does that mean? When someone is banished, they are sent to what is known as the Void. And the Void, what is the Void? Well, my friend, that is an area of some debate. Many say that the Void is an actual place, a plane of existence where evil pay for their transgressions for all of eternity. Others say that the Void is merely a state of unbeing, not an actual place. What is known is that when someone is banished, they are no longer here and they cannot come back. Yeah, has anyone else ever been banished? I don't want to start arguing about the Void with him, if you can come back or not. Has anyone else ever been banished? Yes, others have been banished over the centuries. The Arcanum actually names 4 of them specifically. Gorga, the Bane of Krieg, Kurgan and Krakatoa. Of course there were others, but these were the most infamous. We have located 2 of their hiding places and journals. One of their... we probably have a 3rd item, the eye of one of them. We have nothing on the Bane of Kree. Kree is an actual place on the Arcanum map. I think it's east of Tehran, between Ashbury and Tehran, somewhere in that area. I don't recall where anymore. We might have to go on an exploration trip to find it. I'm tempted to at least go take a look. It's just in case we find something relating to the Bane of Kree. Okay, let's tell me of the Bane of Kree. Bane of Kree was a nomad warrior who was able to gather together nearly all the ancient nomadic tribes and create a vicious army out of them. When his army descended on the city of Kree, he mercilessly killed every man, woman and child that lived there. Nasrudin was forced to confront him and banish him single-handedly. Kurgan was the very first mage to ever delve in the dark side of necromancy. The Elven Council, when they found out what he was doing, demanded that he cease his studies. He refused and they banished him. So, a barbarian warrior, a necromancer, Krakatur. Krakatur was a conniving, twisted monster, half man, half dragon, who terrorized cities and villages, killing their inhabitants and burning them to the ground. With the strength of a dragon but the dark heart of a beset man, he was evil beyond comparison. After a colossal battle, he was subdued and banished. The struggle, he lost an eye, which is on display in the Office of Archaeology if you're interested. Yes, we are interested. Very much interested. Every item or thing related to these guys we're interested in, it might give us an edge somehow. Okay, what about Gorgoth? Gorgoth was a mindless beast with an insatiable appetite. He cut a sword of destruction from one end of Arcanum to the other, laying waste to everything in his desperate hunt for food. Was finally captured by the Council after a struggle which lasted for days, and with no other alternative, it was decided that he be banished from Arcanum. And Aranax. Who was he? Aranax was an elf on the original Elven Council during the Age of the Legends. According to the histories, Aranax was a very evil elf. He had personal interest in gaining control of the council and using it for his own dark ends. Aranax thought that not only should elves rule, but they should subjugate the other races. Nasrudin came to our defense. Where is he now? Aranax was banished by Nasrudin and the council after a large battle near the rings of Brodgar. Aranax had waged war against the council. It is speculated that he had tried to wrest control of the council from Nasrudin for his own purposes. Nasrudin died from the wounds. Yeah, I think that's it. Can we now enter here? No, don't go there. We'll knock. If we have to knock, we'll knock 3 times anyway. Storm Soldier. Yeah, we can now enter it properly. Yeah, nigga, please. You're no match for my power. Hey, where do we actually go here? Okay, which one goes down? I'm willing to believe that this one goes down. That's how it looks to me. Okay, another sewer entrance to the same place. Run away! Shit, I'm paralyzed. Chup 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 chup. That's what happens when you give someone a bow. Ooh, unidentified seed and a sword. I think we'll identify them now. Charmed greatsword. It's not that great. Charmed shield, again, not that great. At least they look different. And we'll rely on poisons to maintain our high combat capabilities. Okay, this must be the grave. This massive stone sarcophagus is covered in runes and carvings. It looks to be centuries old. What the hell am I supposed to do with that? There's a skeleton within the sarcophagus dressed in black robe. The skeleton is... Shit, the skeleton is missing its right finger. It's not Nasrudin. Where's the exit here? Where's the stairs that we used to come here? Oh shit. I can't access them? Really? Really can't. Okay. Hopefully we don't get into fights when we go out this way. Yeah, it's locked. Let's take a closer look. Really can't. How did I enter here then? Ah. Sarcophagus lid. That's the stones, isn't it? I need to take the skull. Yeah, we'll take the skull. We promised we'll take the remains. How do I get out of here? There it is. Yeah, but that was harder than it needed to be. Oh. Luckily this wasn't too long of a journey. I do prefer things like this. If there's one bad thing about this system, the battle system, that there's no real tactical depth to it. There's simply, you would need something like Baldur's Gate where you can command every member of your group. With this random just attack whoever system, it just it's too shallow to be that interesting. The help you usually have gets more tedious than helpful at times. And you're gonna need a ton more arrows. That should last for a proper exploration mission though, but we do need to be buying constantly news at every opportunity to build up his resource.
Of course. I'll do that right away.
Resource reserve ammunition storage. 400 isn't gonna last long if we have to be separated from cities. Hello Hadrian, just spare a few minutes. Yeah, I've returned from the crypt. And you found it! And what did you see there? I made some interesting observations. Something was drawn in blood on the inside of the sarcophagus. What was it? You said it was drawn in blood? What you saw? I don't know what that symbolizes nor why it would be there. Words sound like ancient Panarii, an ancient language used by the early church elders. It hasn't been used for centuries, but Gunther Wilhelm is an expert and would know what it means. It was drawn there by... Oh God, they buried him alive! I noticed that the skeleton was also missing its right finger. That was its right finger? Hadrian's face goes pale. You know what that means? Oh no, it couldn't be. What, Hadrian? What are you talking about? It's the goddamn saint, you stupid. I wish somehow I could strangle my own character because he's so goddamn stupid. One of the objects I have here is the finger of Manax. There's a legend associated with it. It was never known if the finger was actually that of the Great Saint. It would seem that it might very well be. Yeah, you're saying the body in the sarcophagus is Manax. I don't know. Good God. Hadrian looks dully out the window. He's obviously in shock. Why would they have buried him in the tomb of Nasrudin? What are you going to do? I have no idea. This discovery. I'm speechless. He steadies himself against the desk. 2,000 years and no one ever even bothered to check. What fools we have been. He straightens himself. Listen, my friend, I recommend you go to speak with Gunther about this. Find out what the message is. I can be of no further use. I'll get to the bottom of this, Hadrian. Hadrian laughs bitterly. Perhaps this was the stone better left unturned, my friend. It's not every day that one is faced with the negotiation of his belief. Lowers his head. I'm very sorry, Hadrian. I do intend to leave with some of these items at least. Okay, now I have someone's head in my pocket, no? Which is nice. Yeah, how do you do? I've discovered something about the remains of Nasrudin. Ah, welcome back. I take it you've spoken with Hadrian? Have you found what it is you were looking for? Yeah, I found something, but I don't know what it means. Interesting. Seems that the proverbial wool has been pulled over our eyes. But for what reason? I suppose it could be that the early church elders believed that an ascension story might strengthen people's beliefs. The cost of another man's life? I find that very difficult to believe, but I found something that I believe may confirm that those remains are false. Wait, there was something else. Tell him of the bloody message. Gunther thinks for a moment. I have no idea what the broken ring presents, but the two words are written in Old Panarii, a dead language that was once used by the elders of the church. The first word means mirror, or opposite, and the second word means true. As for the meaning of the whole message, I'm at a loss. I think we can assume that Mannix was trying to tell us something. Well, mirror we know what it is. We went there. That means the waypoint guide is mirrored. Truth might be the password we were looking for. We'll have to go try that. Okay, what did you find, Gunther? Remember I told you I was working on these older translations? I found another passage from that is inconsistent with the Arcanum. Coughing. Lovely. I found another passage from that is inconsistent with the Arcanum we read today. Have you heard the passage where it talks about the final resting place of Nasrudin? I've never heard it. Well, today's Arcanum reads, Nasrudin traveled to the southernmost tip of the land, and there laid himself to rest. The copy I've been translating says almost the exact same thing, except for one slight difference. It reads, Nasrudin crossed the waters and traveled to the first southernmost tip of the land. Do you know what that means? Pause. I'm saying that I don't think Nasrudin was buried here in Caladan. We have always just assumed that the scriptures were speaking of the mainland, and of course when the remains were found, no one ever bothered to look again. So where are his remains? The southernmost tip of any land in Arcanum is the Isle of Thanatos, to the south of here. I think that is where you next should go. I might ask you a favor. If you have the time before you leave, perhaps you could uncover the truth behind St. Mannix. There are men here who would be interested in finding the responsible party. Yeah, I'll do that. Why do you think they did all this? I don't know, my friend. Perhaps there is something about the actual remains of Nasrudin which they are afraid of. You should seek out his final resting place, and there I think you will find your answers. Hello, Raven. Nice to see you. Oh crap, we can't give you any more gifts because you need archery space, but you don't have any encumbrance and you still have this. You can keep the skull. Counting on you. We'll keep the leather armor. I gave that thought about maybe increasing your... Really? I need to get rid of those so he doesn't pick them up. Increasing charisma to get more party members, I don't really think so. It's like... And we would need to increase it up by 3 points, and what do we want someone? We might find someone interesting that would be nice to take with us, but do we really need anyone? Yep. That's probably not gonna happen. What will happen though is Roguesborough. Now we have a very likely candidate for the password we needed. There was some kind of a lock system or seal system. You know, I cannot... I'm afraid to dump things here because I think the idiot might go and pick things up. Run away from them! Flee, you fools! Actually, we'll make another jump. I need to get rid of this loot. We're going to a new place. So... yeah. Why do I have arrows? New arrows haven't been spawned yet, so we'll just go immediately back to Roseboro. We do have a lot of places we haven't found yet, but they're all optional. You don't ever need to find them. No, 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 no. About 500 arrows. That should be good enough for her. At least for whatever we'll find here. And again, this is the starting point. We won't be going there, because I remember the final ending point was near the river. So what we will do, we'll go close the river and head the northwest. We should encounter the block sooner or later. Hopefully sooner. There it is. Stone vault. Looks ancient. You must know the word that opens all doors. Truth opens all doors. Yeah. Manex's stone vault. It's just a room. No, don't pick it up. Ah. You managed to pick something up? Oh, good. Sword of Manex. Okay. I don't want to do this reading in this music. Come away from there.
I'll do that right away.
How do I... The Journal of Saint Manex. It's a long one. Okay. Grin Erden himself appointed me the first acolyte today. I feel fortunate to have finally met him, as his days seem near over. I was overwhelmed with prideful emotion at the thought that I was now to carry on the most important task of maintaining the wards. I presided over my first Panarii council today. All went well, and we established without a doubt the dignity of Nasrudin. Without a doubt, the divinity of Nasrudin. The usual debate ensued, but this time we were able to convince those on the council who still held doubts that Nasrudin was indeed sent by the gods to lead us in this world. My mind is troubled. An elf by the name of Khan Hua descended from the mountains today, and has begun ingratiating himself into the council. He claims to be the son of an original Elven council member, but I am not certain I believe him. The others have taken a liking to him, though, and seem to have no doubts as to the veracity of his tale. I do not know why he makes me uncomfortable, but I feel a great distress when I am in his presence. Khan Hua has brought several of his elven folk into the fold. Worse, he is beginning to spread heresy about the truth of the church. He has insinuated that the wards are merely an outward representation of an inward discipline that we all must cultivate, or some such nonsense. He trivializes the life of the great Nasrudin by offhandedly suggesting that he never existed, that the whole tale of Nasrudin and the banishment is allegorical. He has not been stating these preposterous theories outright. I have engaged him in several philosophical debates on matters of doctrine, and have all but cornered him into admitting his beliefs. His animosity towards me is growing, but he is not my concern. It is the rest of the leadership. They welcome him. He offers an easier, less disciplined view of the Panarii life. Amidst my great turmoil, I have been delivered a sign. I was visited today by the physical manifestation of Nasrudin. I am certain of this, as I was tending the wards, as I do these days with no help from my brothers. He appeared to me. He asked me all manner of questions, and appeared pleased when I explained how I was maintaining the wards. We talked for what seemed hours, and he even tested my faith by hinting that he knew Nasrudin and that he was not divine. It was only after he departed that I realized I had actually been speaking with Nasrudin himself. I do not know from where this certainty comes, but I am sure in my heart that it was him. Kanhua means to kill me. Yesterday I confronted him with the news of my vision of Nasrudin, and he exploded with rage, calling me a heretic. Him calling me a heretic, I would laugh if the situation were not so desperate. I almost attacked him on the spot, but I called upon my training to calm my rage and quickly excused myself from his office. I then returned to my room to contemplate what my course of action should be. Later that night, as I was out performing my walking meditation, I was set upon by his elven cohorts. After killing several of them, I fled. I do not know what I shall do now. I know my life will end should I set foot in the temple again. But it is not my life that matters. The truth of the Panarii must live beyond me. I can only imagine the lies Guanhua has been spreading in my absence. My exile is at an end. I have meditated on my situation and I know what I must do. I will return to the temple and declare what I know for all to hear. I will leave my writings safely hidden here, along with my ceremonial sword, as I feel my death is at hand. My soul I now commit to the hands of Nasrudin, Manak's first acolyte. So, Dark Elves have been busy. Very clever though. Taking advantage of the fact that don't seem to be so long lived, so they can manipulate happenings. No one still alive remembers what actually happened. Nice. Wonder what the actual resolution of this is. Especially with the Panarii church. Oh, they're gonna take it. There doesn't appear to be elves here now, but why would there be? The religion has been... It was never meant to be a religion in that sense. They're the guardians of the sea of the banishment side. But they have turned into a church long ago, so they have abandoned their duties. Yeah, I discovered the truth about Manax. Is that so? And what is it? Tell him of the journal. Hunter says nothing for a long while then. Seems that we have been misled from the beginning. Now I see why we were first called the Defenders of the Gate. It seems we have a great responsibility. We shall begin to live up to it. What do you think I should do now? Well, if you would, please go and tell Alexander what you found. I would think he's going to want to have a very long talk with some of his superiors. I'm glad I'm not one of them. Yeah, Gunther smiles. About him. Agent, I found the whole truth. What? Tell him of the whole story of Manax. Anger flares in the eyes of Hadrian. The man truly was a saint and a warrior, and it seems that we Panarii have been neglecting our true duties That will no longer be the case. He puts a hand to your shoulders. Thank you, my friend. You've done this church and the world a great service. Yeah. As a token of my appreciation, feel free to take the object into display cases. I can't tell you what they'd be good for, but they're yours all the same. The cases will be open now. Adrian gestures quickly to the general direction of the case. Would you do me the favor? Speak with Alexander of these things if you haven't already done so. I'm an old man and tired. There's little I can do to right this wrong, but Alexander is strong, the strongest of us all, and will know what to do. He smiles to himself. I envy not the man who Alexander finds responsible. Ooh, it's an amulet. That's just an item. It's an actual eye. What the hell is this? Glass key. I do have an idea what it might be. At least I want to try it out. I'm not quite sure if it is. If you remember long ago, Tyrant, there was a safe that no one has been managed to open. It is a key, glass key. So I want to try it at that. If it's not, I have no idea. What does it give? Critical hit chance, poison resistance, willpower plus +2 melee skills. Yeah. Yeah, you could definitely use some melee skills. Magic resistance, definitely secondary. So, Alexander the Acolyte. Seems it is like a dangerous opponent. I want to see if I can cast these read aura spells. 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 254 hit points. Beauty, charisma, yeah. Damage bonus +20, speed 25. Yeah, I think it's 20 at level 20, then you get +5 to it, so 25 speed. Yeah, he has no skills, so he has to be a magician. 3, 5, 3, 4, 5. And it's a proper mage. He spent all his points on stats. Those are very, very, very good stats. The name of Nasrudin, I welcome you, yeah, blah 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 blah. I have something very important to tell you, Alexander. What? What did you find? Aunt Mannix's journal. Alexander is silent for a long time, then. It seems we, the Panarii, have an important responsibility. That will be no longer, and it seems that my family has been deceived and dishonored. I think I know to whom I must speak about this. He looks into the direction of the High Priest's chambers. I also found this. I'll give him the Sword of Mannix. Alexander is stunned, unbelieving. I never hoped to see this. It was lost so many years ago. It will be put to good use, I can assure you. I'm sure. He takes your hand in both of his. Thank you. Your help here has been invaluable. I wish you luck in your quest and in the conflict to come. Hey, we got rid of one useless piece of crap item and got something out of it, so that's good. Let's take a look at The overworld map. Ah, Panarii. Hmm. I'm not absolutely certain I want to go there yet. Oh, escape before you pick it up. Run. Ah. I think whatever we decide to do, this is a place for stop this video.